Welcome to Gyan Gatha. Before we proceed further into Devi Mahatmyam, it would be appropriate to do a quick recap of what we have seen so far. The first episode of the series of videos was an introduction to the magnificent Sanatan text, the Devi Mahatmyam. In the second episode, we saw the concepts of God as Divine Mother, her various forms, the concept of cosmic womb, linkages between Sankhya Yoga and the Devi Mahatmyam, the three gunas and their connection, and the various levels of truth hidden in this divine text. As said in the previous video, the second episode is like a key to better understanding of the Devi Mahatmyam, and I would urge you to see that video before proceeding further. In case you have not seen it, the links are provided in the description box. To remind the viewer again, the Devi Mahatmyam interweaves four elegant hymns in between the ghastly narratives of bloodshed and slaughter. The entire text of 13 chapters is grouped into three sections comprising three major episodes or charitras, each one describing the glory of one of the three different aspects of the Supreme Goddess, that is, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. Episode 3 and 4 of the series of videos will describe the first two charitras and their deeper meanings, while the third charitra will be covered in episode 5 and 6. In all the episodes henceforth, we will briefly see the story narrated in the charitra of Devi Mahatmyam, followed by a brief explanation of the deeper meaning. As mentioned earlier, these videos are aimed at triggering the curiosity of a discerning sadhaka. For more deeper understanding, it is recommended that you read the detailed commentaries by scholars like Sri Bhaskara Rai. Let us now dive deeper in the Pratham Charitra of the Devi Mahatmyam. Before proceeding further, a quick introduction of the three characters in the story as described in the text. The first is King Surat, the second is Merchant Samadhi, and the third character is Sage Medha. This charitra also describes a myth which is related to Lord Vishnu and the two demons Madhu and Ketub. King Surat. He is a benevolent king who protected his people like his own children. He was defeated by an enemy small in force earlier and later was attacked by more powerful enemies. He was robbed by his own ministers of treasury and army. He now rides alone on horseback into dense forests, worried about what has happened to his kingdom and all that he held dear. Merchant Samadhi. He is born in a wealthy family but cast out by unworthy sons, kinsmen, and wife for greed and wealth. Despite being cast out by his trusted kinsmen, he is worried about the well-being of his kinsmen and his family. Both are grief-stricken and still attached to their past despite the treachery. They wish to spend some time in the hermitage of Sage Medha. Now, let's know the story. The two unlucky losers, King Surat and Merchant Samadhi, meet in a hermitage of Sage Medha, deep inside a forest. The hermitage is inhabited by wild beasts, which are now well tamed. Both together approach Sage Medha to seek answers to the reasons for their unhappiness and delusion. The king said to the sage that since his mind was not under his control of his intellect, it was afflicted with grief. Though he had lost the kingdom, he still had an attachment to everything of his kingdom. The king asked the sage why that sense of mine afflicted him like an ignorant man, although in reality he had lost everything. Just like him, the merchant had been disowned by his children, wife, and servants, and forsaken by his own people. Still, he was inordinately affectionate towards them. The king told the sage that both he and the merchant were drawn by attachment towards objects whose defects they knew and were exceedingly unhappy. He thus wanted to know as to how it was that even the knowledgeable are deluded. This delusion besets both of them, and they feel blinded due to their inability to discern. Sage Medha explains to both King Surat and the merchant that they are being hurled into the whirlpool of attachment and delusion. This happens due to the power of Mahamaya, who makes continuance of the cycle of worldly existence possible. He says that this Mahamaya is actually Yoga Nidra, that is superconscious sleep of Vishnu, the Lord of the world. The sage tells both that she is the cause of transmigration, that is samsara, and sovereign over all lords. The king inquired as to who this Devi was, whom the sage called Mahamaya, how she came into being, and what her sphere of action was, what constituted her nature, and what her form was. The sage replies that the goddess is eternal. She has no beginning. The entire world is her embodiment, and she manifests herself in order to accomplish the purpose of Devas. Sage Medha now starts to narrate the first myth related to his first charitra to the king and the merchant. It was the end of Kalpa. Kalpa is a cycle of creative manifestation, sustenance, and dissolution as per Hindu belief. At the end of the Kalpa, when universe was one stretch of vast open ocean with waters of deluge, Lord Vishnu was in state of deep sleep, that is Yoga Nidra, and stretched on Adishesh. Adishesh is the 1,000-headed serpent of time. And this sleep was induced by Mahamaya. Just then, two terrible demons, Madhu and Ketab, sprung into being from the earwax of Vishnu and sought to destroy Brahma sitting in the lotus at Vishnu's navel. Being born of Vishnu, both demons are equally powerful and threaten to eliminate Brahma. Brahma requests Mahamaya to withdraw from Vishnu for him to awaken and slay the demons. On being released from influence of Mahamaya, Vishnu awakens and sees the two demons eager to devour Brahma. Lord Vishnu fights both the demons for 5,000 years. Remember, they are equal in strength to Lord Vishnu himself. Frenzied by their exceeding power and deluded by goddess Mahamaya, the demons urge Lord Vishnu to ask for a boon from them. Lord Vishnu replies that if they are satisfied with him, then they both must be slain by him right now. Bewitched by Mahamaya, they gazed at the entire world, which had turned into water. The demons told Lord Vishnu to slay them at the spot where earth was not flooded with water. On hearing this, Lord Vishnu took them on his thighs and severed their heads with his discus, that is Sudarshan Chakra. At this point, the myth and the story expressed in the first charitra ends. Now we need to understand the motive of Sage Medha telling this myth to King Surat and the merchant Samadhi. To do that, let's take a glimpse at the deeper meaning of this first charitra. The mysterious interpretation is not added later, as some might think this way after seeing varying interpretations by some enthusiastic writers. The mysterious interpretation is actually inherent to the myth. This will be understood only when one examines the myth through various approaches. In fact, multiple approaches lead us to the same interpretation ultimately. There are 5 main approaches to interpret this myth. The first one is etymological examination of the words used. Second is cross-scriptural references. Third is oral teaching from the Guru. Fourth is various commentaries. And fifth is the inner experiences that a practitioner goes through. All these provide more authority to the mysterious interpretation. Interestingly, all these approaches are in harmony with the Devi Mahatmyam text and also point to its nearly exact mysterious meaning. However, the interpretation cannot be loose or arbitrary and has to harmonize with all the 5 approaches just mentioned earlier. It is not correct if a metaphor makes spiritual and psychological sense but does not align etymologically. They should also synchronize with Nirukta. Nirukta is a discussion of the etymology of Vedic culture. It is one of the 6 Vedangas of Hinduism, which means interpretation or etymological explanation. Thus, this is the approach that we will follow to understand Pratham Charitra. And now, let's come back to the story. The king, the merchant, and the sage are typical characters that reside in us to differing degrees. Here's how. Surat. Su means good and Rath means chariot, or one who has a good chariot. As per Katha Upanishad, the self is the rider and body is the chariot. Intellect is the charioteer and mind the reins. Surat, being a king, is endowed with strong physique, a good body capable of protecting himself and others, and has all material enjoyments that come naturally to a king. Yet, he loses them later in life, as one would expect in an impermanent and temporal world. Samadhi. Sam means together or integrated. A means towards. Dha means to hold, or a focused or a concentrated mind. A mind in meditation. Merchant is single-minded in his pursuit for wealth and being focused achieves material wealth. Both use power and riches to achieve their goals initially, but lose it later in this impermanent world. Medha. It means buddhi, intellect, insight, or knowledge. The 3 together are a perfect combination. An awakened intellect or awareness, a focused mind capable of deep meditation, and a strong, healthy body together can easily attain the best. The 3 gunas, that is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, are part of cosmic manifestation. When they are disturbed and out of equilibrium, each struggles towards supremacy, which is imbalanced. They create a veil of ignorance over our mind. Now let's see the metaphoric meaning of Madhu and Ketab. Madhu means sweet or honey, which when taken in excess becomes tamasic. Ketab means insect or honeybee, which is busy and is rajasic. They both attack Brahma, which means knowledge, and which is sattvic. In the beginning of the spiritual journey, Sattva Guna is superior to Rajas and Tamas Guna. The Sattva Guna is considered like a burnt rope, the one which binds all the gunas, but because of being burnt, does not have much power. So in order to bring all in balance and harmony, we need the assistance of Mahamaya. Since initially Sattva is preferred over Rajas and Tamas, thus protecting Sattva is important in initial development of sadhaka. Hence, Vishnu fighting the Asuras personifies the protection of Sattva Guna. Honey and sting of bee are inseparable. If you want honey, you should dare the inevitable sting of the bee. We are all busily engaged in a perpetual cycle of gathering more honey, daring more stings, telling ourselves that this is the purpose of life despite the swollen faces and pain of sting. Honey also represents the world and its fruits. Without realizing that Mahamaya is also part of both, we keep hankering for more fruit. Thus, sooner or later, this obsession leads us to pain. Thus, one needs discernment, that is Viveka, and dispassion, that is Vairagya, to see through the beautiful play of Mahamaya, and it can only happen through the grace of a Sadguru. That is why the wise sage Medhas preferred to narrate the Madhu Kaitab myth to the king and the merchant when they wanted his advice. We now understand that their troubles arose out of their greed for materialistic pleasures of this world, and which resulted in the inevitable pain that they were now experiencing. Now let us understand how to apply the 5 main approaches which we had seen earlier to interpret this myth explained in the Charitra. If we look at cross-scriptural references of Madhu and Kaitab, the Mahabharata also suggests the same myth, where it is stated that the Asura Madhu is of Tamas while Kaitab is of Rajas. The Harivansh version too suggests a similar interpretation. Finally, we also understand that the etymological interpretation is in line with the cross-scriptural references from the Mahabharata, which clearly equate Madhu and Kaitab with Tamas and Rajas gunas. Of course, the psychological and spiritual interpretation too fits very well with the creation myth of Madhu Kaitab and Brahma. The preparation of this series of videos was an enlightening experience for me. Hope it is for you as well. The story and its meaning will get more complex as we go further, with more characters and deeper meanings getting attached to it. I would therefore urge the viewer to focus on these interpretations before proceeding further in understanding the divine Devi Mahatmyam. In the next episode of the Devi Mahatmyam, we will understand the second Charitra along with the story and the myth attached to it with its deeper meaning. Thank you very much.